From the Home Slice News Center, this is the Daily Slice for Friday, January 12th, 2024. I'm D. Ray Knight. This is what's going on. A South Dakota House committee has taken the first step in making the 0.3% reduction in the state sales tax passed by the legislature last session permanent. On an 11-1 vote, the House Taxation Committee passed HB 1001. The bill, introduced by Republican Representative Chris Carr from Sioux Falls, removes the June 30th, 2027 sunset provision on the tax holiday. The reduction decreased the state sales tax from 4.5% to 4.2%. Carr testified that the predicted decrease of $104 million in revenue has yet to occur, with only about $16 million reduction during the first 6 months of the 2024 fiscal year. Governor Kristi Noem supports making the cut permanent. The CDBG has been approved by a city council committee. Amy Rose has more. Now, Amy, CDBG is not a legendary rock club in New York City, is it?
No, D-Ray. CDBG is the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Action Plan and was approved by the Rapid City Legal and Finance Committee. And by approving the plan, the committee will provide more information to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, specifically about how the city plans to implement federal programs within the Rapid City community. And as of Wednesday, the city is expected to receive around $525,000 from HUD during the fiscal year. The 2024 CDBG Action Plan now heads to the City Council for further approval.
About half of respondents in a recent statewide poll support implementation of a school voucher program in South Dakota, despite concerns by public school officials that the program would shift critical government dollars to private schools in the state. In general, school vouchers allow parents to use their per-student government funding, typically provided to public schools, to instead pay for tuition at a private school of their choosing. Opponents say the program hurts public education by shifting significant dollars away from schools that are required to provide education to any student who enrolls. The per-student funding forms the foundation of school budgets that pay for teachers, administrators, materials, and buildings to house them. In news from the nation and the world, U.S. and British forces have bombed more than a dozen sites used by Iranian-backed Houthis. The military targets included air defense and coastal radar sites, drone and missile storage, and launching locations. President Joe Biden says the strikes were meant to demonstrate that the U.S. and its allies will not tolerate the militant group's ceaseless attacks in the Red Sea. The strikes on the Houthi targets marked the first U.S. military response to what has been a persistent campaign of drone and missile attacks on commercial ships since the start of the Israeli-Hamas war. A high-ranking Houthi official vowed there would be a retaliation. Israel is defending itself at the ICJ. Amy Rose has the story.
Israel is insisting at the United Nations highest court that its war in Gaza is a legitimate defense of its people in response to accusations it is committing genocide against Palestinians. Instead, it says it is Hamas militants who are guilty of genocide. Israel described the allegations leveled by South Africa as hypocritical and said that one of the biggest cases ever to come before an international court reflected a world turned upside down. On Friday, Israel defended its air and ground offensive in Gaza as a legitimate response to Hamas' October 7th attack. On that day, militants stormed through Israeli communities, killed some 1,200 people, and took around 250 hostages.
The Biden administration will start canceling student loans for some borrowers starting in February as part of a new repayment plan. Cancellation was originally set to begin in July under the new SAVE repayment plan, but is being unrolled ahead of schedule to provide faster relief to borrowers. President Joe Biden said Friday it's part of an effort to act as quickly as possible to give more borrowers breathing room. Borrowers will be eligible for cancellation if they are enrolled in the new SAVE plan, if they originally borrowed $12,000 or less to attend college, and if they have made at least 10 years of payments. Your weather forecast from the Home Slice Weather Center. A wind chill warning is in effect throughout the weekend. It'll be cloudy today and 0, 14 below tonight. Saturday, sunny and 7 below. Sunday, 3 below. And that was your Daily Slice for Friday, January 12th, 2024. The Daily Slice is a production of Home Slice Media Group, hosted by D. Ray Knight with Amy Rose. Executive producer Mark Houston. Engineered by Chris Jaquess. I'm D. Ray Knight. Have a great weekend.